was that Grant game?
It's good. You know, to a certain degree. Yeah, because they lost. But I tell you what, that team from San Diego was really good.
He's a 4-star kid.
Yeah, the quarterback.
He's going to Oregon next year.
He's big, man, too. He's legit. Yeah.
What you think of Grant?
A lot of fun. Great atmosphere. Yeah, it was. I wish the band would have performed, though, at halftime. No, they didn't. No offense to the cheerleaders. The cheerleaders were good, too. The cheerleaders were good. The junior Grant cheerleaders or whatever were good, but it would have been neat to see the band. I mean, I actually took video of them.
The keyboardist out there?
Yeah. I took video of them throughout the course of the game, and I was sending it to my staff. Let's see what.
This is Tony.
Just taking over. We're just going to talk Grant
it's
football.
It's a vibe.
Who cares about the Canes anyway?
Tony,
We're going to have to ask him not to say
you want to fix your shot?
You want a marching, please. Just saying.
You just bring them over. They're that good.
Look. Straight high school, baby. They were jamming. But it would have been nice if they would have got out on the field.
So you wasted no time getting up there after we had that discussion last week.
No, because it like it, you know, for me it fit, and I don't, you know, going forward I don't know if it fits. So like, you know, again, my stepdaughter goes to Oak Ridge, and I went to last year. I think I went to 2 games early, and then once we got started, it got a little harder. So I was like, you know what, I got a window there. They told me the team to go see. I'm gonna go check them out, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, great environment.
Mike, speaking to like the buzz. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So first of all, I want to give my condolences to Kim McTumble's family. I had a chance to work with him way back in the day at Denver in the 90s, and you know, I've known him through the years since, and he hadn't changed a bit. You talk about an extraordinary human being. He was definitely that. He just lit up the room whenever he walked in. Fantastic representative of the many causes that he believed in, especially in the NBA, and his impact more as a person, in my opinion, and as a humanitarian, is going to be missed than as a basketball player, even though, in my opinion, again, he was one of the all-time greatest. So, Kembe, this is my little special tribute to you. Love you, and wish nothing but the best for your family.
Coach, opening up this new season, what's the expectation? What's the motto for the year? Yeah.
Well, I was excited. My guys hear my voice a lot, and so I try not to say too much to them during the summertime. I let them do their thing, and I got a great staff, and so I let them work with the staff, and I just sit there and watch. Even though I want to say something at times, I just bite my tongue and say it's not my place, because they're going to hear my voice sooner than later. And so Wes Wilcox, our assistant GM, he had suggested that I bring in a guest speaker to address the team, and so I started thinking about it, and I don't know, just one day it popped to me that something about mountain climbing, and I started doing some research, and there are a lot of similarities or parallels between mountain climbing and a mountain climbing team and an NBA team, and one of the Michael Jordan of mountain climbing, in my opinion. I should say the Larry Bird, because it's Caucasian. But Larry Bird, I hope I don't get flack for that. I'm probably going to get a lot of flack for that. So if I offended anybody, I'm sorry. Just a little joke, but I apologize. So I did some research and came up with a guy named, Ed Beesters. And Ed is a guy that there are 14 peaks that are 8,000 meters or higher in the world, and he climbed all 14 of them. And there are 5 people in the world that did it without supplemental oxygen. He's one of the 5, and I think he's the only American that did it. And his last mountain that he climbed is the most deadly. So he climbed Everest and all that other stuff, but the last one was Annapurna. And for every 3 people that climb that mountain, 1 dies. Yeah. So when you hit adversity in a mountain climbing team, with a mountain climbing team, your adversity is death. And so to be able to hear some of the things that they do in terms of preparation and their journey and all that stuff just hit home. You know, you need teammates that are willing to sacrifice and that are loyal to the group. You need teammates that are extremely focused on the daily process. Because if you start thinking about reaching the summit, it's going to take your mind away from something in front of you, which obviously is going to cause tragedy. And so paying attention to the process, the daily process, the daily details, while sacrificing and being a loyal teammate and embracing your role, all that stuff is huge within a mountain climbing team or an expedition group. And at the end of the day, obviously reaching the summit is like a championship. And you're not always going to reach the summit. You know, and just because you didn't reach the summit, that doesn't mean that it's a failure. You know, you got to get back on your horse and keep trying to do it again and again and again. And another parallel is not the whole team will reach the summit. Only 1 or 2 guys will. And that's the equivalent of, again, I've been to 6 finals and been a part of 4 championships. And at the end of the day, you see Steph getting an MVP trophy, you see Tim getting an MVP trophy, you see KD, whoever it is, and they get a lot of recognition for the MVP Finals trophy, but it was the whole team that did their role to help get us there. And so, you know, having him come in and tell his story was fantastic. It was a great night. And so, you know, our theme right here is it's climbing together. You know, as you climb higher from your summer work to the preseason, to the regular season, to the playoffs, as you climb higher, the struggle gets harder. And you got to be passionate about with what you do or with what's in front of you. And if you are, it's going to get you through the dog days, because there are going to be some dog days. So, you know, our theme this year is climbing together. And if we hit any adversity at all, again, as part of our life, we get to go home and see our wives and kids and loved ones. But for him, especially climbing this mountain right here, Annapurna, that could be death. That's real adversity. So if we hit adversity this year, I'm going to remind our guys, Annapurna, Annapurna, Annapurna. We're not on Annapurna. We're not climbing Annapurna. Let's enjoy what we do and figure it out.
How much of that theme has to do with the step in front of you and avoiding maybe some of the losses that you guys took last year? Don has talked a lot about you didn't beat the best teams in the league, but then you kind of give it back maybe against a team that you quote unquote should have like taken care of business against. Is that part of that message?
100%. It's part of it. He was. I think it was Everest that he was climbing the first time, and you know there's 4 camps. There's base camp, then you got to go to another camp, and the 4th camp, and you leave gear at each camp, so that the camps get smaller and smaller. By the time you get to the 4th camp, it could be 1 or 2, at the most 3 people sharing one little tent. And so I think it was Everest that he was on, and they literally had 200 yards to go, but a huge storm came in, and they had to turn back. If they didn't turn back, it was going to be tragic for them. They could have died. And so as you go through this, so we turned back and they had to go back another season. So as you go through the season, it's not going to always be this way when you're climbing. You're going to take a couple steps back, but you hope that you're resilient enough, not just physically, but mentally as well, to go back and attack it again. So there are going to be some speed bumps that we don't like, because they were heartbroken, pissed, all types of emotions that happened. But they stayed with it, and I think it was the next time or the time after that, they ended up conquering their goal.
Some of the adversity you guys are already facing, what is your take on the injuries that you're going to walk into the training camp with, and how much are those going to impact what you're trying to do, whether it's Kevin, whether it's Trey or Jordan, or even your rookie?
You know, obviously you want everybody healthy, but you know that's part of it. And you know, you look back, even last year when we had the injuries and it stunk, and I hated it. But at the end of the day, you know, other guys got an opportunity to step up and get some invaluable playing experience that they wouldn't have gotten if guys were healthy. And so for us, it's the same thing. It's next man up, and the next guy has to step up, and we got to hold down the fort until other guys get back. But you know, injuries are part of the game. But again, it's not something that you wish upon anybody.
When you look at Keon's success last year, how much belief in him came from weeks like this, training camp and preseason games, for that kind of grind ahead?
A lot of it did. You know, you try to watch guys' body of work, not just during the regular season, but the summertime, and see how they grow. You know, and for me, the most important time for a guy that doesn't play, whenever they get an opportunity, they take advantage of it. I'm going to probably be wrong in this, but I remember seeing something that Tom Brady said, and you know, when he wasn't playing, whether it was in high school or college, I can't remember, even the pros, he would talk to his coach, and his coach basically told him, take every rep like it's a game rep, whether you're on the scout team or you're with the second team, third team, or even the first team, and he did. And when you embrace you know, your opportunities like that, the sky's the limit. That's when you open guys' eyes. And for me, with Keon, we threw him into a blowout game in Houston when Fox was either hurt or he was out. And the 2 or 3 minutes he played that first time, I was thoroughly impressed. And he got another opportunity in the next game, and I was thoroughly impressed. And we got our behinds handed to us, but there were some small victories, and one of the small victories that, in my opinion, came from it was to see how valuable Keon could be for us going forward.
With adding DeMar, what's the balance between sort of optimizing him, but also just getting him to fit into what you have and your 10 staples? Change it all?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. We just kind of moved some things around, but you know, he's gonna fit in fine. Now we tweak some stuff to try to enhance his abilities. But watching the film on DeMar, you know, during the season, I just watch the Bulls, and I don't really specifically look at each individual guy and his strengths and all that. My coaches and scouts do whatever's game it is, and the personnel guy does at the time. But going through the process of getting him to sign here, you watch him a little bit more closely, and you know, you see that he brings the ball up in transition. You see he's able to play pick and roll and make the right read off of it. You see he's able to play the DHO game. So there are some things that I'm like, well, okay, we do that too, because our 1 through 4 are interchangeable. We play a lot of DHOs with Domas. We play some pick and roll with our 5 as well. So I think he'll fit in fine with a few adjustments from us to make sure we try to put him in spots that will enhance or showcase his abilities. The one thing that he brings to the table, though, you know, there are a lot, but the thing I'm most excited about, I'm a firm believer in belief, you know, and you got a guy like DeMar walking through that door, it adds to the belief of everybody, more importantly the players, but everybody, as you can tell, you know, the organization and the city. The city's excited about him, and everybody's got their chest puffed up a little bit more because of him. So I'm extremely excited about that, as well as seeing how he shows his leadership skills.
Mike, what do you think about his DeMar's defense? Have you made any assessments about that when you was looking at film?
Yeah, I think he's a more than capable defender now. Is he 6'11"? Does he jump out the gym? Is he the strongest guy out there? No, but he's extremely smart, got a fantastic feel, and you know, similar to HB, he's going to be able to guard certain guys very well in this league, just okay, I'm gonna say it, based on old man strength. You know what I'm saying? You know, I got some old man strength too, and my grandson in about 6, 7 years, he gonna feel it. He gonna look at me and think I'm a little out of shape, which is fine. But if he tests me, he gonna feel that old man strength because I've been around for a while. So it's the same with DeMar. It's the same with HB. Those guys been around for a while. They're strong. They know about leverage. They know about angles. Now, I'm not going to put DeMar on John Morant. I'm not going to put HB on John Morant. So we have to make sure that we match them up with guys that fit the mold of who they are capable of defending. But I think he'll be fine within the system of what we're trying to do.
Rotationally, right? Look at the.
What's that?
Are you good? Okay. Rotationally, when you look at the shooting guard spot, Malik said he would like to start. He started Keon last year, Kevin as well. What does that position look like when you open up camp tomorrow?
No, the first thing I will say is this: I want guys on my team that not only want to start but want to be the best. You know, and you know, again, that's going back to Ed's speech yesterday. You know, you want everybody on your team to want to have a commitment to being their best, and you want everybody wanting to be at the highest level in that group. But obviously not everybody can get there. So I'm excited that Malik wants to start. I know his teammates are excited that he's that type of competitor. But at the end of the day, I also know that Malik is about the team, and he wouldn't do anything to disappoint his teammates, especially his best friends on the team. He doesn't want to bring them down, and just as importantly, he doesn't want to bring down the city of Sacramento. So I know he'll embrace whatever role we throw at him while continuing to compete, push whoever is in front of him or the side of him or behind him while we're trying to get better as a group. But I've said this before, I was fortunate, blessed, lucky, however you want to call it, to coach two of the best 6 men ever. And one's in the Hall of Fame. I'm not sure if the other, in Manu Ginobili, Andre should be in the Hall of Fame relatively soon. But those guys were part of 8 NBA championships, and 7 of them they won as 6 men. And you know, Manu's made a boatload of money. Andre's made a boatload of money. So it can be done. And I would say this again to anybody: Manu came off the bench behind a guy in Bruce Bowen that's a career 6-point. I think I might be giving him a little bit of bonus, but he averaged 6 points a game for his entire career. And there's not a single person in this room, including myself, that would say that I would take Bruce over Manu. But Manu started because, that Bruce started and Manu came off the bench because that's what gave the team pop. That's what made, in my opinion, and Pop's opinion, who's one of the greatest of all time, that's what gave that team an extra advantage that no other team had. And I truly feel we have that in the league.
Mike,
going back to DeMar for a minute.
Yep.
You mentioned you guys have made a couple tweaks to your system. But
Yeah.
when you get home, how much do you let your mind wander? How fun is it when you try to come up with ways in which you will be able to exploit him on both ends of your game?
Well, that's part of the excitement for this year, is having a guy like DeMar here ready to play for us with the pieces that we already have. And so, you know, you just have to be careful because, you know, we've had some success in year 1. We finished first offensively. In year 2, we finished 7th offensively. And if you're finishing top 10 on either side of the ball, you're doing something special there. Yeah, and so to be able to add a guy like DeMar gets everybody's juices flowing. We just have to be cautious that we don't change too much or add too much, because we already have a way that we like to play, and we feel that DeMar can complement that way very easily with a few tweaks.
Mike, I know you lost some coaches this offseason. I know that Jay and DeMar. Can you speak on the promotions and some of the additions you made?
Yeah, so Jay is his role will still be the same in terms of he's going to run our offense. He is our co-head coach or assistant head coach, and then Doug and Luke are co-number 2s. So they're both second assistants. Luke will run the defense, so he'll take Jordy's spot in terms of running the defense. And then we gave Jawad a bump. Jawad Williams, he's our director of player personnel as well as an assistant coach, so he handles all of that type of stuff. And then we added Jim Moran and Ricky Foy. Jim Moran was the head coach with Portland's G League team. He had been with a couple of teams as an assistant coach. He's been with Portland before, Detroit before, and Jim played 10 years at Gran Canaria in ACB in Spain, and he, I think, is the only player in that club to have his jersey retired because he played all 10 years there. So that's a little side note for Jim. And then Ricky Foy we added as an assistant coach. Ricky, I've known Ricky for years. He was on Mark Few's staff, so I met him. I was an assistant for Mark Few back when Mark was the head coach of the Pan Am American team for the Pan Am Games, in maybe 2013, maybe, I can't remember, 12 or something like that. And Ricky helped out in the video with some scouting and stuff. Ricky is Italian. He played in the Italian pro league over there, and he was actually the one that helped get Domus to Gonzaga. So they also have a long-standing, close relationship. But Ricky went from there to the Phoenix Suns, and he was part of their finals run as assistant coach. And then he went from there to the front of the bench spot at University of Arizona because he and Tommy Lloyd know each other and worked together at Gonzaga. And then he came here.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you guys. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate you. I'll see you. Yes, sir. How about you?
Yeah.
I'm going to go get my stuff.
Slide that in.